Spastically infatuated with the in-between, the ups and downs, the curves and the rounds. I bring it to your city or your hometown. I go back in time when the feeling was fine, when funkin' was legal and it wasn't a crime. Party people lined up and down the way, a bigger celebration than your birthday. Funkin' up the neighborhood, I felt the fool 'cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood, funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt the fool 'cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. And I have seen the world pristine, funk you up in the bushes, funk you down in the trees. Now look around, all the frowns, the yellow, the white, the red and the brown. And keep in mind, it never costs a dime, 'cause funkin' is free, I remember the time. Now look today, the streets are gray, time to take it back to yesterday. Funkin' in the neighborhood, I felt the fool 'cause the funk was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood, funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt the fool 'cause the funk was good. It was good in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood, I felt full 'cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood, funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full 'cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood, funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full 'cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood, funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full 'cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood.
And we're live! Welcome to the Order of the Pipe. My name is West. This guy is Jim Steffey from Emerson Southern Forge. Jim, thanks for joining us, man.
West, again, it's a pleasure to be here and really looking forward to tonight. We're going to have some fun.
This is going to be a lot of fun. We already have people joining us. So Thomas is joining us in the chat. Hey, Thomas, good seeing you, man. Everybody else, leave a comment. Let us know what you think. We are going to make a custom blend tonight, but we're also going to debut a couple of new tobaccos from Jim. So Jim, before I open this box, what is there anything you got to tell me? I don't hear any ticking. Is it going to explode or anything like that?
No, rarely do you get explosives through the Postal Service. I've tried a couple of times. They're very particular about that. They get really tense.
It's true. They frown on that.
Yes, they do, severely. So I thought it was best to not send you any C4 or anything with any detonating qualities. But I did send you 2 new blends that we're going to premiere tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And I whipped up a blend for you that I thought you'd like. So why don't you go ahead and cut the box open and we'll talk about what's in there.
Absolutely. So real quick, I got started too quick. Before we get started, for people who don't know you, I just automatically assume everybody knows you. This is Jim Steffey. He is the master blender from Emerson Southern Forged. Your blends, Jim, are amazing. You sent me a couple of your cakes a while ago, and I can't stop smoking them. They're amazing. So,
well, thank you very much.
You want to give like a quick description about Emerson Southern Forged, kind of your blends, what you're all about?
Well, I am. We've talked before, and I've been on the air before. I struggle with aromatics. I don't like the chemical that they put on it. I can't smoke it, and if I can't smoke it, I really can't blend it. So, and I started to notice casings on some blends that I didn't particularly care for, and I thought, well, what's wrong with tobacco just being tobacco? Now, some things they do, before I get them, they have a casing or they've done something to it,
Mm-hmm.
which is fine, but I don't add anything to it from there and just kind of let the tobacco shine through. I like the taste of tobacco in all of its forms. There's nothing that I really don't like, and it's just about the journey of blending. This is where we all got our start. And if I can encourage one person to try home blending at home, then mission accomplished. So,
well, I think you've accomplished it today. So
there we go.
But no, that is awesome. That's actually really cool to hear. So, some people have aromatics, some people don't. Your blends that you make, not aromatic, and they're amazing. I mean, I can't stop smoking them. They're great.
Oh, that's good. It's wonderful to hear. Very proud of the Port Marion, which is a new vapor that I brought
Mm-hmm.
out. I made my first batch was 12 ounces, and I thought, well, I'll just try.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, I'll add some dark fire to this and see what it does. And of the 12 original ounces, there's 4 left, and I only made it about a month ago. I just absolutely love it. I'm more of an English and Balkan guy,
Mm-hmm.
but I just love that vapor. As some people know, one of my favorite blends of all time is Acadian Perique, which is discontinued. And I'm not one to chase discontinued. Eric at EMC Custom Cobbs was at a brick and mortar in Columbus, Ohio, or some small town in Ohio, walked in and said, Jim, they've got 3 unopened tins of Acadian Perique. Do you want me to get them for you? Yes, I do. So he sent those off to me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But I won't, I'm not one of those guys that's going to spend, $50 or $75 or $100 a tin for something that's discontinued. I just,
right.
And that was my fear when Thomas sent me a sample of Frog Morton. It's like, oh, do I smoke this? Because if I fall in love, I know that, then I'm down a rabbit hole that I can't get out of. So I actually tried it. It's an excellent blend. Really liked it. But I'm not going to chase it because I can't get it. So
right. The trick is now you got to try and recreate that flavor profile. You think you can do that?
Well, let's go ahead and open the box and we'll see how I did.
Oh. Okay, it's a little hint there. I see what's happening. Okay. Well, here we go. I'm going to try not to chop my fingers off with this X-Acto knife.
Well, I mean, it'll make for a much more exciting live if we have paramedics and bandages.
Look, I went to art school for way longer than I should have, and I lost way too many fingertips at that school. Like,
Yeah, well, a lot of people have gone to college for 8 years, Wes.
they're called doc.
Most of them are called doctors, but
Now you sound like my parents, Jim. Again, I went there for a lot longer. I really enjoyed college life. I did.
I understand.
All right. So the cat can play with the packaging material. Okay, what's the first jar here is Abercastle.
Okay, that's the one I made for you. It's
Okay.
a Burley Oriental Perique. Go ahead and crack it open. Tell me what you think. I made this with you in mind.
Okay, an Oriental Perique.
With Burley.
Oh yeah, I definitely smell the Burley.
Yep, a little cigar leaf in it too.
I was gonna say, I smell some cigar leaf in there.
Yep.
That's incredible. I love a cigar leaf in a blend. That is so good. It's like candy to me.
Yeah, it's fun, isn't it? I mean, I really, cigar leaf is one of those tobaccos. It can overpower a blend.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But if you put it in the right measure, it just makes it spectacular.
Yeah, it really. Oh man, the great thing about cigar leaf in a blend too is it really ages well. Like it takes a little bit of time for that cigar leaf to sort of meld in there, but man, it's like candy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. Okay, I might have to.
Yeah. Now that one I haven't released at all. You're going to smoke it. Tell me if you like it, and then we'll talk about whether we'll release it or not.
Okay, you want me to smoke a bowl of this before I open the other two?
No, set that one aside.
Okay.
That's one for deep research.
Yes, will do. Absolutely. Second, we have I can't pronounce this very well. This is Portmarnock Reserve.
Portmarnock, yep.
Portmarnock, okay.
Portmarnock Reserve. Now, what makes this blend unique for me, if you open it up, crack the jar.
Okay. Oh, I see something in there.
Yes.
I see something in there.
So I got a hold of some bourbon barrel staves.
Nice.
And they were a little dry and lacking the aroma that I liked, so I soaked them in a bourbon and put it in together with this particular blend. This Portmarnock was an idea by Thomas from Tinker's Blend.
Okay.
Or from Tinker's. And he said, we don't want to chase, Frog Morton. Why don't we do the next thing for ESF? And I said,
nice.
Well, okay, well, what do you have in mind? He says, well, why don't you take Port Marion and turn it into a mild English? Put a little Latakia in it,
mm-hmm.
With the Virginias and the Perique, and you're going to tell me what you think of it.
Yeah. So maybe it's the bourbon, but it has like a really sweet tin note.
Yes.
Like it's not, knowing that you don't do aromatics, like I know it's not topped with anything.
Yeah.
So it's really sweet. I think I can pick up some of the white oak from that stave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, white oak, when it's been charred like in a whiskey barrel,
mm-hmm.
has releases a vanilla scent into the blend.
That's it.
And the bourbon that I used, and I don't have a deal with them at all. It's just I took a recommendation from Jay Furman. Jay Furman is kind of the guru at all things alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And I said I was thinking about doing a barrel stave with a bourbon on it, and he made two recommendations, and one was the one I was thinking of. So, okay, I'll do that.
Okay, so, nice. Can you say what bourbon it is, or is that secret at this point?
No, but because I don't want to offend the particular makers of this bourbon, but I will tell you there are quadruple the number of flowers in it that you would think.
Good to know. Good to know. That's I'm a fan of the work in the garden. It's good stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh man, no, that smells delicious. I can pick up some of the Perique in there. It smells light and fruity, And again, very sweet because that bourbon and the white oak. That smells amazing. I can't wait to get a bowl of that too. Good stuff.
All right.
Oh man.
All right.
All right. One more coming up.
One more coming up.
Here we go. Tenby Reserve.
Yes.
Tenby Reserve. What do we got here?
Yep.
Ooh. That's interesting too. What is that? That's there's another stave in there. Okay.
Yep, another stave in there.
Mm-hmm.
So this is from my reserve line. This is dark fired Kentucky, red and black Cavendish, dark Burley, 2 red Virginias, just something different. And what I was, you asked me last time we were on, are there some things that surprised you? I was thrilled at how well dark fired Kentucky responds to bourbon. It's like it knows, oh, we're from the same state. We need to be together.
They're buddies.
I had a bowl of Tenby Reserve walking the dog this afternoon, and I just think that the bourbon infused staves really impart something unique on these two blends, and they make them very different from anything that I've done. And we'll see. I've sent it out to the brand ambassadors. I sent it to Travis, Master First Sergeant, sent it to Thomas, sent it to Tim at Beaumont Pipes. I sent Portmarnock to Eric at EMC Custom Cobs. I feel bad. I sent him a bunch of Burley blends, and he's not a Burley fan. And he was kind enough to go ahead and smoke them in reviewing, and I know he didn't like it, so I didn't send him Tenby just because it's Kentucky dark fired and dark Burley, so it's a little out of his wheelhouse. But again, it's just something unique. So of those 3, you pick one that you want to fire up a bowl of, and fire up a bowl, and then as we talk, we'll see how you like it.
Yeah, this smells really unique. I might go in the order I opened them. Man, I don't know.
Well, this is your show, Wes. You do what you want. I am here serving.
You're a man of the people, Jim. That's what you are.
Well, I'm certainly larger than most of them.
I can't stop smelling that. No, this is like, I can't really place any of the tobacco. Now that you mentioned it, I pick up some of the dark fired in there. But it has a really unique kind of light aroma. So I'm just going to go in the order I open them, just to stay unbiased.
All right.
So I'm going to go with the Abercastle first. Ooh.
All right.
Yeah, I can definitely get some of the cigar notes in there. All right, let's get some of this in there.
All right.
I'm smoking this out of my Morta pipe that I got from Papa Bear's Pipes. This is my first Morta. I've never had one before.
Oh, very nice.
I love this pipe. It's incredible. All right. Let's see what we got here.
Yeah, the amazing thing about Tim's pipe is they're always amazing smokers. It doesn't matter the size or the bowl shape.
Right.
They are fantastic smokers. And I have a growing, never-ending growing collection of Tim pipes.
Oh, yeah, and his work is like, every time I see a new pipe of his, I'm like, it's his style, but it's like growing, it's developing his style. And like, you can just see over time, he just keeps getting better and better at making these pipes. He's incredible.
Yeah. He came out with that Antler series that he's got up on the website, and I've seen a couple of those, and it's like, wow, that's really on. I would think that's on the cutting edge. Just spectacular pipes. So
yeah,
not really my style, but they are just spectacular to look at.
Right.
I'm one of those function guys. I have pipes for specific purposes, and church wardens and antler pipes don't quite fit the bill for me. Although I have several of church wardens.
I do love a church warden. I do. Okay. So on first light, the cigar is definitely there. You can sense the cigar is there. After that, it kind of fades away a little bit. And some of the burleys come through after the cigar fades away at first.
All right.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to think about this one. It's interesting. This is a really unique blend. I've not had anything like this before.
Well, that's the other thing for me. I don't want to copy anything. I don't want to replicate anything. It's very hard to do, and I want to put things out there that I haven't seen together.
Mm-hmm.
And we grow the jar of doom fairly regularly. We've had some misfires of late, and eventually I'll press them all, throw them in a press it up, and hey, here's a surprise.
Mm-hmm. Right. You know what this reminds me of are those little bouchons. I actually opened a box of those during my last stream. This actually reminds me a little bit of those. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, bouchons are basically these little pipes of cigars, just plugs. I think bouchons is French for cork, actually. And it's just a little cigar plug, goes in your pipe right there. And it's a unique Burley blend that only grows in, like, this one valley in, like, I want to say Brussels, maybe? I don't know. But.
All right.
No. Yeah, that is good. That's really good.
All right. Well, there you go. So I was able to guess kind of your taste just from our couple of conversations. So we're making progress, Wes.
Yeah, no, you're a master at what you do. So are you?
Well, I don't know about that. I was listening to a podcast the other weekend, and home blenders were referred to as bartenders. So I will proudly wear the label of bartender.
That's pretty cool. I would take that.
Well, it was not meant as a compliment.
I was going to say, I'm not sure how to take that one, but I mean, sure. No, this blend, I mean, your blends overall are incredible. The cakes that you sent me, so everybody out there watching and listening, seriously, go to look up Jim's work. And where's the best way to buy your tobacco right now?
Message me on Instagram or email me at emersonsouthern@yahoo.com. Probably the best ways to get a hold of me.
Good to know.
Yep. So, and I'll send you the updated blend list. The Portmarnock and 10B that you just debuted are not quite ready. My initial thought was I would put them in the cellar for 3 months before I made them available. Simply because, I really want the bourbon to infuse top to bottom through it. That's why I put them in a bigger jar, so nothing is compressed. The aroma of the bourbon has the ability to work its way through the jar. But if people, if my brand ambassadors, if Travis and Thomas and Tim and Eric all say, yeah, launch it, then we'll launch it. In fact, I even did a reserve version of Dark Watch for Eric, just to see if he liked that, and maybe that'll be something that'll be available through EMC Cobbs. So
nice, yeah. You've actually been experimenting a little bit. One of the blends that you sent me, one of the cakes you sent me, was Foreman's Navy cake.
Yes,
and that has rum in it, right?
Yep, it's got I put a rum casing on it before I press it. I tried a couple of different rums, but I really liked how this one particular rum smelled, tasted. I just think it was the best choice. And I was very happy with how it came out. And then I came out with Colwyn Bay, that's also a Navy, and Connemara Navy. I took the Connemara, gave it the Navy, the rum casing, and pressed it. And Colwyn Bay and Connemara Navy will only come pressed. They won't come ribbon cut.
Okay, good to know. Yeah, and those cakes you sent are super dense too. Like, you really put the pressure on those.
Well, it's the magic of these little guys from Amazon. They are spectacular presses. I think you have one or a couple of them.
I have one, yeah.
They work like a champ. And the key to it is just, when you put it in, press it, come back an hour later, tighten it up a little bit, let it sit for 8-9 hours, come back. So if you work like we all do, press it in the morning before you go to work. When you come home from work, before you go to bed, screw it down again, and you'll find that for the first 2.5 days, you can get, a good quarter or a half turn on it. But by day 3, the end of day 3, they're pretty firm and ready to take out morning 4. And, I'm not trying to turn them into bricks. I want something that's, what we're trying to do is meld the flavors. We're trying to get, to speed up the aging process a little bit, and it helps meld the flavors. And I'm very happy with how the cakes have come out. And I sent Tim, we pressed a run of Beaumont Supreme for him. He's got that. Eric wanted everything pressed except Dark Watch, because one of the things we found is English blends, it has a neutral or slightly negative effect on pressing them.
You know that.
On an English blend, what it tends to do is brings forward the Latakia and kind of smothers the Virginias and the Orientals and whatever else is in the English blend. So we pressed Thomas's, we pressed Kilmallock, we pressed Aberdeen, we pressed Queen's Reign. Now, Queen's Reign, because it was Oriental heavy and Oriental forward, was much better pressed. But Kilmallock, Aberdeen, Thomas's blend, it was a pretty neutral or slightly negative effect on it. But the Virginia blends are much better pressed. The Burley blends are much better pressed, and the Balkans become otherworldly. It mellows them out. I mean, the Balkan blends are fairly mellow to begin with, regardless of the Latakia content. But man, does it make a difference. I mean, it changes the blends just in a spectacular fashion. And if someone were saying, well, would you press Balkans? Oh, yeah. I would highly recommend pressing Balkans.
Good to know. Yeah, good to know. That's awesome. So any of your existing blends that you plan on pressing in the future, are you going to make adjustments to the ratios to balance them out as they get pressed? Or, what are you thinking?
Nope. Actually, right now I offer them either ribbon or pressed. So it's up to, some people don't want to fool around with a cake, and I get it. But I offer all the blends ribbon or pressed. It's just if you're going to come and get pressed, if I don't have it made, it's a 4-day wait. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. That totally makes sense. So let's see. Let's catch up on some comments here. Papa Bear's Pipes joined us. Hey, Tim. How's it going, man? He says, Portmarnock smells delicious. Just opened his tonight. So it is. It's. Let's see. That's. I haven't opened that one yet. That might be my next one. Yeah. So that's awesome. Looking forward to that.
All right. Excellent. Hey, Richard. Richard Bros here with us tonight.
Yeah.
How you doing, sir?
Got a lot of great people in the chat tonight. So let's see. First Sergeant.
Yep.
Yes.
Travis.
Yeah. Man,
yep. Travis is here watching the show tonight. Excellent to have him with. He is. I've. At times I struggle to write and not be over enthusiastic about my blends. Mm-hmm. So I've asked Eric. Eric has written some fantastic reviews on the blends. I've asked Thomas and Travis to kind of go through the list and just write reviews about them, so that tasting notes, how they feel about the blends, so that we can include that with the blend list. Because I just tell you what the ingredients are, and you like to think that a pipe smoker has an educated enough palate that he can, I like this and I like this and I like this. Mm-hmm. That should be pretty good. However, I think it would help immensely. The problem that I have, Wes, is I make all of these tobacco with my taste in mind.
Right.
So if I don't like it, it doesn't see the light of day. What's your favorite tobacco, Jim? Well, it's like asking me what my favorite kid is.
I have the same problem.
Yeah, exactly. Son, you're really great, and I like you a lot. But man, your sister is just whipping your butt in this category, and I like her a lot better.
Right.
And that's where I'm at with tobaccos. I just don't. I smoke them all regularly and enjoy them. And again, I got into blending because I wanted to. I wanted to do something different. So
Yeah, totally. And that's one of the problems that I have every time I go to my local, B&M for a cigar or a pipe. I go in, they say, "So what do you smoke?" I'm like, what day is it today? I don't know. It changes literally every single time. So I like to smoke everything. I like aromatics. I like Englishes. I like vapors. I'm all over the place.
yeah, and it's how it should be. My grandfather smoked Amphora Blue.
Mm-hmm.
Period. It
Mm-hmm.
was all he smoked every day in and day out, and would be mad.
Oh, I think I lost your audio there. Uh-oh, Jim. Jim froze. Let's see. All right. Well, the point is, yeah, I smoke a little bit of everything, and I think where he was going was, some of the older, old time smokers, they'd have their one favorite blend. And I think that's where you get the idea of the codger blends. Everybody likes their one thing, and that's kind of what they smoked for their entire time with the pipe. But yeah, I like a little bit of everything. So this one that I'm starting with, waiting for Jim to come back. Where did I put that jar? Here it is Abercastle. So this is a new one that he made apparently just for me. And this has cigar leaf. It's burley heavy. And man, it smells like heaven. This is one that I'm going to smoke every time I'm in the mood for a cigar. This is so good. Uh-oh. I think we lost Jim's connection altogether. We'll see if he comes back. But no, I actually have half a pound of Cornell and Deal's chopped cigar leaf, specifically because I just like to smoke cigar leaf sometimes. So, no, this is really, really good. Looking forward to researching this more. This is one of his brand new ones, Abercastle. So, Jim, he undersells himself. He is a great blender. He's really, really good. Hopefully, he can rejoin us here. I don't think the connection problem's on my side. Let's see. Papa Bear's Pipe says, "Oops, red pilled. Who got red pilled?" We don't take pills on this channel. We don't talk politics. I try not to talk politics. It's getting really hard, though. You can't talk about anything in the news without getting into politics. This Thanksgiving is going to drive a wedge in a lot of families. So it's going to be a tough Thanksgiving for a lot of people. Hopefully I'm still streaming. There we go. There's some comments. Let's see. Papa Bear's Pipes. The blends Jim has turned me on to has changed my appreciation of tobaccos for sure. Absolutely. And you're right. His Portmarnock is. Have you tried his Portmarnock? It's his vapor with a little bit of Dark Fired Kentucky. Dark Fired Kentucky is another one that I smoke. I'll just smoke that plain by itself because it's incredible. I think he rejoined. Let's see if we can get him on here. And you're back.
Yes, I'm back. I just wanted to say thank you for AT&T for providing what I consider to be a third world internet provider here in Moore, South Carolina.
Same here. I have ATT Uverse, and it is the worst. It is genuinely the worst.
The choices here are Spectrum,
Mm-hmm.
which we have at the office, which has the unique ability to turn itself on and off randomly throughout the day, or AT&T, which is really good as long as no one else in the general vicinity is using the internet. So,
Right. Yeah, and it's tough because my wife and I both work from home. So,
what a bonus.
And I have small kids who, of course, have to be online on at least 4 devices at all times.
Well, come on, there's 7 and 5. What did you expect them to be doing?
I know. It actually sounds really bad when I say it out loud. I probably should admit to that.
Well, it's not like they're making TikTok dances to save the Ukraine, so at least there's a plus there.
No, don't get me started. It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, you know,
I've already told my wife when my daughter's a teenager, I'm moving out. So
you know, I was just thankful that the houses that we've lived in have had multiple bathrooms. Because having a teenage girl in the house means that one of the bathrooms you're just not ever going to see unless there's a critical problem that requires your attention.
right, exactly. So WV Cigars says hello, Mr. Jim and friends. And Richard Bro, is a bro? Do you pronounce bro? Says you become his favorite bartender.
Well, there you go. I'm very excited to be a good bartender. So,
So I won't ask details about that, but I really like that you overheard somebody mentioning home blenders.
well, no, it was on a podcast, and
well, that's right.
and
I'm not asking for names about who said it, but I think I find that really
yeah. I thought it was hilarious. I was just like, oh, okay, cool. A bartender. I am, and in a previous life, I was a bartender, so kind of fun.
I would be the worst bartender. So
I certainly wasn't the most sober bartender.
oh, did you do the one for you, one for me rule?
Well, I drank all the mistakes, and as a bad bartender, there was a lot of time where my blood alcohol was racing to my IQ level.
That's funny. Well, so one of the reasons I kind of wanted to make a blend with you is, for Halloween, what I was going to do is I was going to make up a batch of Haunted Pirate Ship and send it out to some friends. You know Haunted Pirate Ship. You take 50% Haunted Bookshop and 50% Pirate Cake. You mix them together. You let them sit for 30 days, and that's your Haunted Pirate Ship. Well, I thought, that's kind of basic. I should do something more interesting. So for a test, I was going to make a whole video out of it. But as a test, I just made up the Haunted Pirate Ship and added some stuff to it and kind of made it my own. And thought I'd test it before I actually made a video out of it. And it was terrible. It was awful. It was one of the worst things I'd ever smoked. And it reminds me of every single time I go to Mongolian barbecue. You know Mongolian barbecue?
Mm-hmm.
So for those who don't know, Mongolian barbecue is one of these places where you go through the line and you mix all your own ingredients, the sauces and the meats and the carbs and all that kind of stuff, and you give it to these guys and they'll cook it on this big grill for you, and then you eat it. And every time I go there, I make the worst thing ever. I can't. It seems good at the time, and then I eat it and I'm like, this is awful. So I figure with blending, it needs some help. All
right. Well, then let's get started on your journey. So I sent you a spreadsheet that's got. So when you were thinking about making this blend, what did you want the predominant flavor to be? What were your thoughts on how you wanted this blend to taste? And I have, so that everybody at home knows, the blending ingredients that he has are cigar leaf, dark burley, white burley, dark fire Kentucky, granulated Perique, which I don't have any granulated Perique, long cut Perique, Izmir, Latakia, and red Virginia. And these are all C&D blenders, correct?
Yes, they are.
Okay, so that's what he's got, and that's what we're working with.
Yep, so I'm sharing the screen. They can see the spreadsheet here.
Okay, so how big of a batch do we want to make? Do you want to make a 2-ounce batch of it? Do you want to make a 4-ounce batch? Do you want to go hog wild and make a 12-ounce batch? I'll tell you, as we're experimenting, I probably would not go much higher than 4. Okay. That way you minimize the amount of additions to the jar of doom.
The jar of doom is you call your mistake jar, right?
That's right. The jar of doom is where all the mistakes go. And I actually had to run out the other day and buy a brand new jar because I had some problems making some blends. I just had a week where it's like, wow, this is really terrible. I can't give this to anyone. But I'm embarrassed that I killed tobacco for it.
So what do you do with the stuff in your jar of doom? Are you hoping it ages well and you can smoke it later?
No, I thought about it and I thought, I'll just take it all when the next jar gets filled and press it and see what comes out of it.
Okay. Yeah.
Because individually, they're all ingredients that I like. I just didn't get the math right. So if I get a big enough sampling, the solution to pollution is dilution. So if I dilute everything enough, maybe it'll be something worth trying, and just press it up and see what I get out of it. So I've got one full jar. I'm working another one. When I get that one full, and I'm really trying not to fill the jar of doom. That's bad form on my part.
Right.
But once I get that one filled, then I'm gonna take the two down, press them, see what I get, and send them out to somebody. Hey, I really don't like you. Try this.
Exactly. Here, I named this one after you.
Yeah.
All right. So you say not to go above 4. So let's go with 4.
Yeah. So put 4 in the green box.
Okay.
Because I'm doing this at home with you. So we're going to put 4 in the green box.
Okay. 4 box.
So now we're going to talk about what, as you look through these blending ingredients, what do you want the star of the show to be? What flavor profile do you want it to be? A Latakia heavy blend? Do you want it to be a Burley heavy blend? Do you want it to, what in this group do you want to lead the pack for you?
When I actually took a photo earlier for Instagram, and when I had the lids off all these jars, the one that just made my mouth water immediately was the Dark Fired Kentucky. I might want to have that a little forward.
Okay. So if we're going to so you've got a drop down there. So if you go over to the box under custom blend, you've got a drop down.
Okay.
And we'll put Dark Fired Kentucky. So that'll be first. Okay.
Yeah.
Now in the white box below the 4, because Dark Fired Kentucky is a strong blend, I would probably recommend that we go like 0.25. So 25% of the blend would be Dark Fired Kentucky. So if you put 0.25 in there, it tells us that we're going to put 1 ounce of Dark Fired Kentucky in the mix.
Okay.
So I've got a bowl. So I'm blending with you while we do this. So I will grab Dark Fired Kentucky. I will turn my scale on with my mixing bowl on it. And we'll put this together. So I've got my scale zeroed out. It says 0. And we're going to pour a little Dark Fired Kentucky until we get to 1 ounce.
All righty. Oh, hang on. Okay.
Okay. So I've got 1 ounce. Now I use a small bowl when I'm adding individual ingredients. And then because this is a smaller batch of 4 ounce, I have a larger bowl, which I call the mixing bowl. So we're going to dump it into the mixing bowl, put the measuring bowl back on the scale, and then we're going to talk about what you want the second flavor profile to come through.
Okay. All right. So I got 1 ounce of the Dark Fired.
There you go.
Good stuff. All right. I don't know. What would you recommend?
Because Dark Fired has that woodsy, kind of nutty, creamy taste to it, one of the things that I like with it would be like a white Burley to a percentage.
Okay.
So if we've got white Burley, because it kind of, Dark Burley has that same nutty kind of taste that Dark Fired does. It's not as prevalent, it's not as strong. But what we're trying to develop is a blend with nuance to it.
Right.
So when you combine a bunch of things that have similar flavor profiles, it becomes what I would call muddled.
Sure.
So I love Dark Burley. I like white Burley, and I think in this particular blend, white Burley would be something to throw in. So now we'll talk about what kind of percentage you want for white Burley. We'll go to the spreadsheet.
Yep.
We're going to drop white Burley in.
Okay. And you do this for all your blends, right? You do this spreadsheet for all your blends.
Yeah, I do.
Good to know. A little recipe sheet here.
Well, and what it does is it allows me to, so if somebody calls up and says, I want 24 ounces of something, I just plug in 24 in the green box and it tells me how much to add to get a 24 ounce.
That's incredible.
You know, and if I want to do 2 ounces, then it makes it very simple to control the batches.
Yeah, you're speaking my language. I love a spreadsheet. I do. I'm a data nerd. I love it.
Okay, so in this particular blend, I would say like 20% white burley. So if we plug in 0.2 in the box below the 4,
Okay.
that tells us that we're going to add 0.8 of an ounce. So we'll put 0.8 of an ounce in.
All righty. This is awesome. Oh. Hang on, my scale turned off here.
It's okay. Okay, so I've got 0.8, and we've now thrown it into the mixing bowl. So now we've got about 45% of the blend in these two things. And now we decide where we want it to go from here to create that nuanced blends for you.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. It's going in the bowl.
All right, it's going in the bowl. Put this back on. So to add a complex layer to this, when I'm looking at your blenders that you have, my choice would be between Izmir and Red Virginia. Now, Izmir is a very cool smoking Oriental. I like the balance that it brings. It does have kind of that almondy, nutty taste to it. But I think that would be good. Or we go the Red Virginia way, which has that straw bread, kind of malty, hay grass type of flavor to it. And we can put that in. So because this is order of the pipe. In fact, I even went all out for you. I even made order of the pipe jar labels.
Nice. Incredible. I love it.
So the choice at this point is where do you want it to go from here?
I think the Izmir sounds great.
All right. So let's put the Izmir in, and we'll do the same thing. We'll point 0.2 of Izmir. And we'll put a little Izmir. I'm going to put 8 ounces.
All righty.
So now we've got scale decided that was 175. We need 8. Come on, Darwin. We're in there somewhere. There we go. All right, so we've got 0.8. So now we've got basically 65% of the blend in White Burley, Dark Fire Kentucky, and Izmir.
Yep.
Okay? So now we talk about the condiment type of flavors that will go in that will add something unique and different to the blend as we build it to be what you want.
Okay.
So when you're looking at what's left from your list, so we haven't used cigar leaf, we haven't used dark burley, we haven't used Perique, we haven't used Latakia, we haven't used Red Virginia. So in your mind, which, as you and take a sniff of the tin note in the mixing bowl and say, okay, I think this could use something different. What would you? And I know where I lean, but because this is you creating the blend at home.
Well, now again, remember Mongolian barbecue. Now remember my
right.
success there. So I'll
okay. Well,
go ahead.
Well, I want you to. So when you smell the start of this blend, how do you feel about it?
I'm picking up. The Dark Fire is great. It's deep and rich from the Burleys. I like it. I feel like it needs something to lighten it up a little bit.
Okay. So if we're going to lighten it up on the things that you have available,
Okay.
I would think that what we'd want to throw in is a little red Virginia.
Okay.
I mean, if you're trying to thin it out a little bit and maintain the presence of the dark fired, which is the prominent, and the white Burley and the Izmir, which are secondary, I think that based on what you have, I would say red Virginia would be the choice.
Okay. Now, which way were you leaning before I said lighten it up? What would have been your preference if you were in a room by yourself?
If I were in a room by myself, I probably would have gone to the red Virginia. And simply because it's going to tone down a little bit of what's in there.
Mm-hmm.
But to get it to do that, we're going to have to put in, 20%, right? So that takes us to 85%, right?
Sure.
So if we put in 0.2 and we put another 0.8 ounces on it. So we'll grab the red Virginia ribbon. And as you smell the red Virginia, it's got a nice tin note. It's very mellow. And of course, really, seriously, that's how you're going to do it today?
Your scale not working?
No, I talked too damn much, Wes, and my scale turned itself off, and I started measuring without the scale being on. Luckily, I have many, many bowls here in the magic of bartending home blending.
I believe this. Your equipment is awesome, by the way. Your cutters, those cutters you have, are so cool.
Well, I've got one that I'm working on for you, which I think will be right up your alley. So,
What blend? You
had mentioned in a conversation we had off air, and so that everyone knows, I found a guy on eBay who sold me one and says, I have this friend that has this old barn and he's got all kinds of stuff in it. And if he's got some of these cutters, do you want to buy them? Yes, I do. So I have 6 currently in the garage in various states of repair and finishing. I've got Tim's. It's got its finished coat of paint. I have to reassemble it and build the blade, and then it's done. And I've got one for Travis and Jeff from West Virginia Cigars that are stripped down. They're back to bare metal, and I've got to paint them. I was hoping to get to paint next week while I'm off, but the weather has not cooperated the first 2 days. I really don't want to paint when it's cold.
Oh, wow. If you have a spare cutter, yeah, I'd buy that off you in a minute. Those cutters are super cool.
Yeah, well, then we'll talk about it.
Absolutely.
All right, so now we're down to the last 15% of your blend. And what do you want the salt and pepper type flavor to be? What do you want to add to this to bring out all the flavors?
Yeah, definitely. So I just put on some gloves real quick. I'm going to give some of this to some friends, and I don't want to manhandle all the stuff they're going to be smoking, so keep it clean over here.
I do have gloves. Dr. Jellyfinger is in the office today, so.
Oh, no, you don't have to. You absolutely don't have to, but if anybody's watching that I give any of this to, I don't want them thinking I'm, touching all their tobacco. Oh, man, that already smells so good. Okay, so the last thing we added was the red Virginia to kind of lighten up a little bit.
Yep.
And now we're down to a relatively small amount in the blend left.
Yeah, we've got about 15%.
Mm-hmm.
So this, again, is the condiment. And when you look at what's left, you've got cigar leaf, you have dark burley, and you have Perique.
Mm-hmm.
And Latakia. Now, this particular blend, I would probably not put Latakia in it.
Okay.
I mean, if you want to, great. And Latakia and Dark Fired Kentucky go very, very well together. I have a couple of blends that I use it together in, but I think this blend, it would be an overly smoky campfire kind of blend with the amount of Dark Fired Kentucky we put into it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it's a wonderful tin note on this.
It is.
I really like how it smells here in the bowl.
That smells great so far. Okay, look at my list here. What I got left?
So basically, we're down to Cigar Leaf and Louisiana Perique.
I'm thinking of Perique for this. I think.
I think so.
Okay.
I love what Perique adds to a blend, and again, Perique is that. A lot of people don't like Perique, but in the right quantities, it makes a magnificent addition to any blend. So if we want to just keep it simple and keep it to 5 ingredients, it would be 0.15 of that. So we're going to put 0.6 of an ounce, and that gives us 100%. So let's grab the Perique. Make sure my scale's actually on before I start this.
Right.
0.6 of an ounce. And I prefer long cut Perique. I don't use granulated at all.
Why is that?
You know, in a couple of blends that I used it in early, what I found was that after it sat in the jar for a while, it would sink to the bottom.
Oh,
you know,
that makes sense.
Because of its size and general shape and weight, it would. So you get to the bottom of a blend, you know, in a 2-ounce jar, and it would be lots and lots of Perique, which is fine for those of you that absolutely love Perique. That would be great. But for me personally, smoking straight Perique is different. I don't. Again, you know, it's like if you put half the shaker of salt on something,
right?
It's not as good as it would be if.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I get it. So, do you ever use anything like any lesser known tobacco types like deer tongue, anything like that?
I don't, because deer tongue really isn't a tobacco. It's just kind of a plant. People put it in.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought it was a tobacco.
No, deer tongue is, and it imparts kind of a vanilla strong taste to the blends. And I haven't found a great reliable source, and I tried a couple of blends with it, and I wasn't enamored enough of it to think I can find a place for it. So the short answer is no. I have not.
What is a tobacco type that you have not used that you really want to play with?
There are some additional type cigar leaf, the wrapper type tobaccos that have some interesting flavor profiles. That they only come in whole leaf. So when you're talking about what's available from smoking pipes and pipes and cigars and four noggins and some of the others, you know, your Peter Stockby's, C&D, and Sutliff. So, you know, they're not really branching out on the wild side. But if you go to some of the whole leaf, there are some very interesting tobacco wrappers that I think would be an interesting addition. And I really like cigar leaf. So if you fire up the bowl of 10B with the dark fired and the cigar leaf and a little bourbon on it, it's pretty tasty. So
I'll do that next then.
Okay, so we've got this blended up.
Okay.
It's got a boy that just mellowed out nicely.
Yeah.
Are you happy with your custom blend that we did?
I think so.
All right.
You got the dark fired Kentucky in there. You can definitely smell the Izmir and the Perique. Doesn't smell none of it smells overpowering though. Like none of it like is like the super dominant aroma, in my opinion.
Yeah. So this will be a very subtle, nuanced blend, and I think that's what you were At least that's what I was shooting for. I mean, that's
Yeah.
Again, like when I make for myself, I make a Perique Latakia blend, and it's 70-30. Because I really like Latakia and I like Perique with something else. So, I wouldn't sell it to anyone because it's just for me. But when I'm creating blends that are for someone else, or I think someone else would like, I think it has to be nuanced. It has to be something pleasurable. So when they sit down for their 30-minute pipe, what I would call a cascade of flavors comes through.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you get your first couple of puffs, and you taste this, and you get something different on the retrohale, and it stops and makes you think. And really, that's what pipe smoking for me is all about. I want to take my mind off of whatever it is that's on my mind, and really my mind is very small, so these are very small subjects that I'm frequently on. But it gives you time to reflect and think. And I think that's the joy of pipe smoking for me, that I can stop the world around me for 30 minutes and I can have something subtle and nuanced and flavorful and can focus on that. And I think we've done a nice job with this.
I think so. Well, you're only a bartender, but I think you did a great job.
I am truly the bartender. And do we have any comments? Anybody commenting on this fantastic blend? Is there anybody out there?
I've not even been looking. Been so caught up in this. Let's see. Okay. So WV Cigars says he loves Cigar Leaf. Grimwood Hollow is joining us. Hey. So Steve from Grimwood Hollow, I was just talking to him the other night. And we were talking about Dark Fired Kentucky. So he says that he loves Papa Bear's pipes. I was showing him the Morta that I've been smoking. So awesome there. Let's see. Yeah, just a lot of conversations about how people love your blends, man.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
So a blend like this, is this something you think would go well into a cake, or would you keep this as a ribbon?
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to jar them both up because we made 4 ounces, so I'm going to put 2 ounces in one and 2 ounces in the other, and I'm going to smoke a bowl or two of it and see what I think, and then I'll go from there.
Yeah.
And this will be the order of the pipe blend. So
look, that's awesome. So now, Bear just asked if we're going to press this. So I asked the same thing he was thinking.
Tell you what, because I've got 4 ounces, I'll press 2. Mm-hmm. In fact, let's go ahead and put it in the press. What do you say?
Let's do it. Okay. Hang on, let me get my press out. Mm-hmm. So when you're pressing a blend, do you need to add anything like a liquid or anything like that to help it bind over time, or will just the pressure hold it together? Did you hear that? The question? I don't think you heard my question. Hey, Jim. Uh-oh. I think I lost him again. We'll see. So anyway, yeah, I got this. So he's talking about these presses, these noodle presses on Amazon are incredible. So basically, this one's brand new. Still has the plastic on it. So basically what happens is you're supposed to fill this thing with your noodle dough. Is that what it is? I don't know. And it squeezes out through these little holes. But, Jim's gone completely. He's going to call back in. But what Jim does, and what I did, is create a cap so the tobacco doesn't come out through these holes. And I think Jim is back. 1 second here. Get him back on. And he's back.
AT&T can kiss my ass.
So, Jim, before you dropped off, my question was, do you need to add any kind of a liquid or anything that helps the tobacco bind, or will just the pressure hold it together?
No, the pressure will hold it together.
Okay.
Now, if it was, as you're running your fingers through it, if you're finding that it has a very dry moisture content,
Yeah.
You may want to steam it before you press it.
Okay.
But because what I'm holding here has what I consider to be excellent moisture content,
Mm-hmm.
I think good as is. So I have fired up my scale. I've got my, let's see if can we turn the computer? Can you see?
Yeah, I can kind of see.
No, kind of.
I can kind of see what you're doing there.
Oh, wrong way. How about this way? There we go. So let's drop in 2 ounces.
Yeah, so I'll do the same. So you're going to press 2 ounces, right?
I'm going to press 2 ounces. And with these particular presses, I've gone all the way up to 4, and I didn't like how it pressed. It was, I just couldn't get the compression that I wanted. So if you're going to use this particular press, I do not recommend you go much over 3.5 or 3.25. And I find that, if you want to get this pressed well, 2.5 is really the sweet spot for it.
Okay, good to know. Perfect.
So we've got it screwed on. Crank it down. And then we'll have to make a video of us taking it out. So it's Friday night.
So you just jam this thing full of the tobacco, right?
Yep. Just jammed full, and just pack it as tightly as you can. My hand, and then the press is going to do the rest. And again, this is a fantastic little press. I was watching a video on YouTube the other day from Matt Noah's house, and he pressed it for a month, and he wrapped it in wax paper, and it came out very, very nice, and he was very happy with it. I worry about the tobacco being in for more than 5 or 6 days.
What could happen?
Because I'm not trying to turn it into Roman mortar. I just want a cake that I can run through a cutter and be happy with it.
Sure, no, totally. Alrighty.
And you can see we've got it cranked down. There we go. And this 2 ounces cranks it down to about there. If we let it sit for about an hour, you can come back and probably get a little bit more out of it. But typically, a quarter to half turn after it's been pressing for a couple hours, or the twice a day when you do it, is what you're looking for. If you crank it down and let it sit overnight and come back in the morning, and you can get more than half a turn or a full turn, if you get more than 3/4 of a turn, you probably didn't crank it down tight enough beforehand.
Okay, good to know. Good.
And we'll put the, in fact, conservation of movement, and we'll take the Order of the Pipe logo.
That's incredible. I love that.
And we'll put it right on the jar so we know what's in this one while it's pressing. That's the other thing. When you have 26 of these things, don't forget to label them. Because it will be a surprise.
Right. Don't get mixed up. That is really funny. So in the comments, we have some interesting comments. There's a little bit of spam going on saying, find love on new dating site. So let's keep that in mind. Well,
thank God. I was hoping we could find lonely Russian women here too. and my wishes come true.
It's true.
Fantastic.
Look, Russian women get lonely too. It's fine. It happens.
And all they need is my credit card to be happy.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
your PIN number, and it makes them very happy.
Okay, so now I'm going to pack this in the jar, and we'll trade notes about it, Wes. Over messaging, and you tell me what you think of your blend, and we've given. So if you want to try this at home, it was on the screen. We told you exactly what's in it, what the percentages were, what the math was. You can replicate this at home.
Yeah, the ratios are right there, and I'll actually add those to the notes of the show.
Yep. And I think it's an excellent blend. I really like the tin note, and the more I sat here smelling it and touching it and working with it, I think that's something unique that we got to make together. I think
we make a good team, Jim.
I think so. We should find out in the comments if Wes and Jim should do like this comedy show where we just come on, once a month and shoot the breeze.
It's true. We are a laugh riot.
Yeah.
The First Sergeant says the site isn't free, so.
Huh?
I said First Sergeant in the comments said the site isn't free. So for all of you who are hoping for some cheap Russian love.
Oh,
not happening.
There we go. So there is a hidden cost to everything. Thank you, Travis, for finding out that detailed information for us, and I'm sure Shannon will be thrilled to know that you've learned this as well.
I was going to say, I hope his wife doesn't check his browser history.
Yeah, that's what my medical alert bracelet says, clear browser history.
Always good advice. Always good advice.
Yeah.
Perfect. Nice.
So we've got one pressing and one in the jar. So Monday afternoon, when you get home, when you get off of work, take it out of the press, put it into a jar. Tell me what you think of the tin note. And, this is the key for me is how well it smokes in ribbon cut and how well it smokes in cake. And that'll tell you what this blend is better at.
Okay.
Port Marion, I have smoked both, and I love it both ways. But Travis and Thomas have both said, no, it's much better as a cake. Okay, fair enough. Spurgeon Piper got a hold of it and wrote a review and really liked it. Eric at EMC Cobbs wrote a review on Port Marion, and it's for me that's when a number of people say that it's great, that it's a spectacular blend. That's as well as I can do.
Yeah, no, Spurgeon Piper's review was fantastic. Actually, I did see that. You need a website where you can post these reviews.
West,
look,
you know what the product I'm working with here, right? Which was been banned in California. Flavored tobacco is now banned in California, and I'm so sorry, any of you living in California, that you all voted for this.
Insane. It's the world is upside down right now. It's upside down. It makes no sense to me.
If I want to buy a handgun and a fifth of alcohol and flavored tobacco all at the same time, I should be able to.
Right. Exactly. Look, you're old enough. If you're old enough to go and fight for your country and die for your country, you should be allowed to smoke some kind of flavored Swisher Sweet while you're playing with your handgun and gambling.
Yeah.
It's
That's right. Well, while talking to lonely Russian women, that's
exactly.
fine.
Exactly.
These are things that are pressing issues.
So, what do you recommend next?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, what do you recommend next? Tenby or Portmarnock?
Okay, so if you really like dark fired,
okay, then
I would say Tenby.
Tenby.
If you want to try Portmarnock, see, here we go. You're going to ask me to talk about my children and how much I like them.
Which one of your
But
children would you pick over the other? Yes.
yeah, exactly. And I have smoked. I told myself I'm going to put it. I made a batch of 24 ounces of both of them, and I sent some samples off to people, and I have 3 jars here. And I told myself I'm not going to touch it for 3 months. I want to see what the barrel staves do.
Mm-hmm.
And the amount that I have left proved that was a complete and utter falsehood.
Ah.
I have smoked a lot of it. In fact, I am soaking barrel staves right now.
Well, that is genius. Those are great. I mean, that adds such a unique essence to the tobacco. I mean,
Well, and that's why I went with the Navy Flakes, because there are a lot of Navy Flakes that I really like. When you talk about Sexton from GLPs, or you talk about Jupiter from 7L, or you talk about luxury Navy 400 from Newminster. There are a lot of fantastic Navy Flakes. But I wanted something special, so I made my own Navy Flakes.
yeah. Sorry, lighting here. That is fantastic. And even on the char light, you can tell something is different about this tobacco, and I think it comes from that stave.
Well, here we are. We ran it out just for your show. I made sure that nobody else talked about it before we brought it out, and here it is. Now, Tim has actually got. I cut some pieces of the stave up and sent it, and he's going to try to vacuum seal it in to see if that works with it. So we'll see how that. He's got the samples. I think he's working on it tomorrow. So
yeah, and Thomas from Tinker Pipes has been making you a press as well, right?
Yeah, Thomas is working on the presses. We both still work for a living. We have lives.
Yeah.
And stuff comes up, and he's also building pipes. He's also, he's the repair guy for most of the pipe makers. They send him to do machinist work on their lathes and their chucks and make drill bits. And his dance card is full. So when he gets to it, he gets to it. So.
Oh yeah, believe me, I get that. And I was going to say he is an incredible machinist.
Yeah.
A post on Instagram of a drill bit that he made. I don't know if it was from scratch, but he apparently made this drill bit for this guy, and his craftsmanship is incredible.
Yeah, well, this is the kind of guy Thomas is. So he sent me pictures. Said the forklift broke down at work. They want $8,000 to fix it. I said okay. 2.5 hours later, he sends me pictures. He goes, "Nah, I think I got this." And he fixed the forklift with just stuff laying around the shop. Welded some stuff up, machined some stuff down. He's just one of the more gifted mechanics that I've ever met, and I don't think there's a better friend in the world than you could have than in Thomas. He's just one of the more genuine souls I've met. And when you look around the Instagram and YouTube pipe community, that's what you see. These are just great people.
They really are.
They're just, Tim Beaumont and Eric at EMC Custom Cobs and Travis. These guys just bend over backwards, and they create these functional works of gorgeous, one-of-a-kind art.
Mm-hmm.
That, Corey Brown from ABBS Artisan has bought a wood lathe that he's making like bowls of, where he's making bowls. Tim has actually got a bourbon smoker that he's made, which I think is incredibly cool.
Mm-hmm.
And you start to watch the craftsmanship of these people, and it's like, wow, I'm part of this community, and that I can't imagine anything cooler.
Yeah, such incredible people. Like literally everybody that I've met in the pipe community is just one of the most genuinely good people that I've ever spoken.
Yeah, and they'll bend over backwards. They'll just, oh yeah, hey, it's like Mike from Pipe and Tamper. I was trying to do the logos, and Mike goes, "Please let me help you because you're bad at graphic art." And he came up with the logos for Emerson Southern Forged, and And Jay Furman, his partner in Pipe and Tamper, has tried so many of my blends and publicized me. Just how can you not love this community? Just spectacular people. So
Yeah, honestly, true. So,
and enjoy.
back to tobacco a little bit. What's your feeling on stoving?
I do like stove tobaccos. Now, the dilemma that I have is that I live with the most wonderful woman on the planet who thinks all pipe tobacco smells horrid, like I'm, setting armadillos on fire or possums. She doesn't like the smell of any of it. So if I were going to stove at home, there would be some legal repercussions. I'd probably have to start writing my name on the bottom of stuff. So we play a rousing game of this is mine, this is yours. And really, after being with her for 35 years, I don't think that's the route I want to go. So I don't stove at home.
Fair enough.
I would like to, just because you have a much better control. Adam at Cloud Bears does a fantastic job with that. I mean, the things that he does with his blends, is much more chemistry than the bartending that I come up with.
I actually had him on a couple of weeks ago, and we talked about.
Yep, I'm in a chat group with him. I talk to him fairly regularly. Just another one of these super wonderful people in the pipe community. Yeah,
honestly. And the funny thing is early on when people start looking at YTPC stuff, the YouTube pipe community stuff, occasionally you'll come across a video that talks about like a drama within the YTPC and stuff like that, and I literally have not seen anything like that. Like, just period.
No. I try to avoid drama at all costs in my personal life. We create enough drama in our lives as it is, and I do not go seeking it out. So if I see something that I don't agree with or I don't like, I click the mouse and move on to the next thing.
Exactly.
Because that's the American way. Oh, I don't like this. Oh, we should ban it. No, you should just go someplace else. Just do something else.
Right.
But I haven't either. I haven't seen a ton of that. And I try not to be involved in things that cause drama. So.
Well, on that note, what are your feelings on the latest political issues happening in America right now? I gotta, let's, I'm joking. It got real silent. I think your audio cut out.
Yeah, I'm sorry we cut out here. I think one of us had a seizure. So.
Yeah, we're both stroking out simultaneously. I was joking. Do not answer that.
Oh, okay. Because my standard comment on any politics, the puppet on the left is really no different than the puppet on the right. They're all bought and paid for. So pretending that they're different is just your delusional way of getting through the day.
That's it. It's a bigger version of the Kardashians, basically. It's just entertainment.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm a fan of is Douglas Adams' writing. Did you read a lot of Douglas Adams?
No, I do not.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So
okay.
So in the first book, he introduces a character called Zaphod Beeblebrox. Getting super nerdy here. Point is, he's the president of the galaxy, right? And the whole point of the president of the galaxy is to be the most ridiculous person in the galaxy to draw attention away from people who are actually doing the work. And honestly, I think this was written back in like the 80s or even the 70s. I don't even know the date it was written. Let us know in the chat. But honestly, it's a perfect analogy for American politics. It's just fun and games, so you don't really see what's going on. I don't know. We're not talking politics on the show. I apologize. But do read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Everybody out there, I promise you'll like it. So Jim, you say take this out of the press on Monday and put it in a jar.
Yep, take it out, and I store them when I press. They make these little 4-ounce jars, and they're perfect.
Nice. So one of those 4-ounce jars holds 2-ounce puck.
Yep. Exactly.
Oh, that is awesome. I can't wait to try this, honestly.
Yeah. So obviously it's late. I won't smoke one tonight, but I will. I'll have one. I'll probably have it on the morning dog walk, and then I'll to the park sometime during the day and have it in a bigger bowl, and it'll give me a pretty good idea of what we've done. But
How confident are you this is not going to go in the what you call it, the disaster jar?
the jar of doom,
Jar.
it's not going in the jar of doom.
Good to know. So
I think this is, again, it's got a fantastic tin note. And for me, that's where it starts. If the tin note's terrible, why do I want to smoke it? This smells bad. Maybe if I set it on fire, it'll be better. No, that's never the case. If it doesn't smell good, it doesn't get through.
So when you make a new blend, do you usually let it sit a little bit just to settle before you smoke it? Or will you smoke it after blending just to see what it's like?
Well, so I have it a little because I have tobaccos that have been in jars, sitting, waiting to be blended. So typically like all the stuff that I pulled out for tonight in my batch has at least been in the jar for 3 months. So it's kind of ready to go. And if I really like the tin note, I'll smoke it right away because I know that it will get better with age. So if it's good fresh, like I just mixed it, I'll always try it. And before I send it to anybody, I'll have anywhere from 6 to 10 bowls in 6 to 10 different pipes. Because different pipes give you different flavor profiles. A tall, deep bowl, a short, fat bowl. You get different flavor profiles. And I'll rotate through, again, 6 to 10 pipes. And if I like it, then I'll send it off to the brand ambassadors. Thomas will get some, Travis gets some, Tim gets some, Eric gets some, Jay Furman gets some. And they come back and say, yeah, this is pretty good, or man, don't do that. So.
Okay. Well, hopefully nobody says don't do that with this one. We'll see.
I don't get a lot of don't do that one. But and I feel I was working on a blend with Travis and Thomas the other night. So they both wanted to do something Balkanish. And Thomas had his ideas and Travis has his ideas. And I mixed up both of them. And because they were a lot of key forward, they were both very good. And I pressed Travis's blend, which is called Papelwick, and it's available now. And it's excellent. And if Travis is still watching, he can comment and says, yeah, this is really great, because he got his samples on Thursday. And I think he's had a bowl or two of it now. And I thought when I got done with Thomas's, I thought, well, I'll make it a navy blend because I really think the rum will bring something out in this. And it did. The rum ruined it. It destroyed it. It was terrible. And I was like, really? Seriously? And I looked at the ingredients. I thought, well, that probably would have been better with a bourbon than with rum. That molassesy, sugary taste really did nothing for Trinitas. So I made, and that didn't even go in the jar of doom. That just went directly to do not pass go.
Really? That bad?
Yeah, it was just bad. I mean, I took it out of the press and was like, oh, I don't even want to smell this. This is just evil.
Oh man.
And threw it out. So tomorrow I'm going to work on the next incarnation of Trinitas, and I think I'm going to bourbon it and press it and see where it goes. Papelwick, I didn't add anything to it. I just pressed it and thought it was fantastic. So.
That is awesome. And your blends are really taking off. Like, you got a lot of people talking about your work now.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I'm just
I know
blessed.
You're and all, but like, you really have some important people talking about your stuff.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, if you told me this was going to happen in July, I would have laughed. I had no intention of ever selling an ounce of tobacco. I just made it for me. And I started sending it to, Thomas and friends. He says, oh, well, send some stuff to Jeff at West Virginia Cigars, see what he thinks. And send it off. And like, oh, yeah. And the next thing you know, one of Tim's customers today called and placed an order with me because Tim had sent him a sample with a pipe, and he said, "Yeah, I really like this." And he called up and ordered a couple of blends, and I mailed it off to him. And like I said, if you had told me this was going to happen in July, absolutely not. That wouldn't happen.
Yeah, interesting. So, what are your plans next for Emerson Southern Forge? Are you planning on anything? I know you're kind of trying to keep it a little bit on the down low a little bit, but I mean, you're expanding really fast.
I'm just looking for, the reserve, the bourbon infused staves.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a vapor, and I've got the 10B, which is a Burley, dark fired Kentucky Burley type blend.
Mm-hmm.
I think there'll be a reserve in a vapor and an English. I think that I'll put 4 flavors, and I'm still working on the profiles, so I haven't got that far. I really haven't done a whole lot of English blends because I was very happy with the ones I made.
Mm-hmm.
I like the sweet light English, and I like the medium body English. I really don't know what it would take to make a strong English blend other than upping the Latakia perhaps in it, but if you're going to do that, then it's a Balkan. So
Right.
Where do you go? I did come out with 2 straight Virginias, Kilkenny, which is available ribbon or pressed, and it's just straight Virginia. And then there's Colwyn Bay, which is a straight Virginia Navy, which I think you have sampled. Did I send you samples of that? Colwyn Bay?
Yeah, we're right over there.
Yeah. Okay. So those are straight Virginias. I really don't know what's next. Again, I'm working with the barrel staves. I think I'm going to come out with 2 more reserves, and see if people are interested. And if someone is interested or wants to talk, please just message me and we'll have a conversation.
Right. And again, people can reach you on Instagram, Emerson Southern Forge.
Yep.
Or on YouTube. I guess they can check out your videos. Can't really.
Right.
But on YouTube,
Yep.
You are Pipe Hooligan.
Correct.
But yeah, definitely, I recommend everybody watching and listening reach out to Jim and pick up one of his blends because I think it's only a matter of time before you. Really, you're like right on the edge of that point of just hitting it big, and this becomes a real thing. You know what I mean? Like I know it's a real thing, but like.
Well, thank you. I just like what I do. This is just the most interesting thing I've done in a long time, and it's fascinating to me. I've been fooling around with blending for a little over 2 years, and when I started with this, I was Mad Mac Baron. I pick a tobacco and you discontinue it, you dicks. I'll make my own. And and I didn't even get anywhere close, but it started this journey, and the more I started and the more I liked it, and and if it wasn't for Tim, I'd have never sold one. I just send them to people for fun. But Tim says, I want to take your blends to the pipe show in Columbus. I'm like, okay.
And that's where I first got first found out about you. I got a jar of Thomas's blend.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm glad to pick that up, man.
Yeah. And that's still one of the best selling tobaccos I've made. It's just a great light English blend. It's got a wonderful flavor, and it seems to be a hit. And it was all because Thomas said, "Hey, have you ever put this in a blend?" No. Well, you should do that. Okay. And I did. and it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, no, totally. Well, okay, so Thomas says we just lost Joe Langford, which was a tragedy in the pipe industry, the pipe community. He says Jim is a replacement. So look, I think we can make you some connections over at Seattle Pipe Club, and you hooked up.
Well, Joe Langford forgot more about tobacco than I know. I don't think I'm a replacement for Joe Langford unless, I'm like that relief pitcher in the bullpen that's got his hat on sideways. And the last time he came in, he gave up one of those tape measure homers, and you're bringing him in a close game, and this may not end well.
Honestly, I mean, I could see a big brand picking up at least some of these blends. I mean, these are you have some amazing blends. Monclaude says, have I tried the Semoys yet? I think that's how you pronounce Semoys. The little bouchons we were talking about. So yeah, those are really good. And Jim, have you had those before?
I have not. You know, in my cigar smoking days, I was in love with Maduros.
Mm-hmm.
Jaime Garcia Reserve Especial, 601 Blue Maduro, Joya de Nicaragua,
Mm-hmm.
Gloria de Cubana. You know, their Maduros were excellent, and I really liked them. And I really never ventured far away from that. I just never. And I bought a humidor, which is actually in the frame behind me.
Yeah.
Which is now currently a pipe holder. Because when we moved from Columbia, South Carolina here to Moore, it lost its seal. And I had about 120 cigars in it. And you know how you find out it loses its seal? Because you get it set up and you're checking the humidity levels after about 3 months, and you realize, wow, humidity at 44%.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, these are bone dry. What do you call those cigars? Well, road flares. You light them, you throw them behind your car when you get a flat tire.
Yep.
And all the cigars were ruined, and it just became more of a chemistry set than I was willing to deal with. Where pipe tobacco, I can put it in this jar, and 3 years be just fine. I put a cigar in a jar 3 years later, and it's pipe tobacco because it's
Yeah. So these little bouchons, I found out. Actually, it was Adam over at Cloud Bear that said you don't put them in a humidor, which I thought you were supposed to. So I originally had them in a humidor, and then I quickly took them out when he said that because apparently, if you get them up to that humidity, the 70 to 75% humidity, they'll get dense and they'll be hard to smoke. So they're actually supposed to be a little bit on the dry side. And apparently it's a Burley, and they're just these little cigars that are made to go into pipes. So I'll send you. What do you think?
Yeah, do. I'll try it and tell you what I think.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Always looking for the next. But you know, when we talked earlier, that's one of the things that I think will probably be the next thing. You know, maybe we do something with cigar leaves. You know, something from the whole leaf. You know, and we'll see where that goes. You know, there was one really interesting one. It's grown in. Well, now you're going to make me look. Hold on. Organic pipe tobacco leaves, as if there's some other way to have them.
So, where would you recommend buying whole leaves?
So I look at 3 places: whole leaf tobacco, total leaf supply, and leaf only are the 3 that I look at. I'm partial to whole leaf because it seems like they have a better stock on hand. And Basma and Krumgrad and Samson are important ingredients in several of my blends, and not being able to get them is painful. Like right now, if you're looking for red Virginia Cavendish, good luck. Nobody has it.
Good.
And you know, for me, I purposely don't do like timed offers or limited buys. Everything in my line is running line.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't want people to feel like they have to chase it. You know, when you want something, come get it, and it'll be here, and it'll be available. And I understand why they do it, and it's very successful. But to me, it just doesn't. it doesn't resonate with my personality very well because I don't chase.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Pennsylvania wrapper that I was looking at. It's a darker brown leaf, and then there's Havana CT, Havana, Connecticut, and then a dark fired cured wrapper and a light fired cured wrapper, and those are the four that I think I'll be looking at next. But that's, once I order them, I'll shred them, put them in jars, let them sit in the closet for a couple of months, and then see what they do. And that'll probably be something down the line.
Yeah, interesting. That sounds really cool.
Yeah.
So Jim, I think what we need to do is we need to start a new segment where we do this periodically. We call it Blend School, where we come on, we make a blend, we talk about how it all works together, talk about the chemistry behind it. Because look, it's basically chemistry to me. It's might as well be magic, the stuff that you come up with. But man, this has been a lot of fun.
Well, it is. I would love to, and if anybody wants to just talk about blending at home, and I've had a couple of people reach out to me, just reach out. I will happily share whatever I know. This isn't magic. It's not, it's not alchemy. We're just taking tobaccos that and the first thing I tell everybody is, okay, well, what flavor profiles do you like? Well, I like this and I like this. Okay. Well, then if you want to make a blend for yourself, let's start there. And let's see what things go with it, and we'll go from there. Mm-hmm. So that's how we started this. What do I like? I like Dark Fire Kentucky. Well, excellent. That's a great choice, and we can go from there.
Yeah, no, that is awesome. So, by the way, Thomas says I should try the Portmarnock, and I totally will do that next. I'm working on this bowl of the Tenby right now. So, man, it started out where the I could taste some of the bourbon at first, even into the char line, I taste some of the bourbon. I get down, it gets more into the dark fired is in there, and now the dark fired is starting to linger off a little bit, and I'm getting into the other Burley. So it's a really interesting flavor profile as it changes through the bowl. WV Cigars has a question for you, Jim. He says, Cigar Leaf, Latakia, Red Virginia, and Perique. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, that would be pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I would. That would be, again, it's just getting the math right. For me, it's creating the nuance in the blend. And I think that when you get the math right, those particular flavors, Jeff, will sing together.
Yeah, that was awesome. I love that cigar leaf. That first one that I opened, the Abercastle. I'm going to be smoking a lot too. That's incredible.
All right. Well, there you go. See?
Very unique blend.
And again, that was one, just based on our conversations and chatting, and you had said that you like Luxury Bullseye Flake. That's one of your favorite tobaccos. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I'm not going to duplicate Luxury Bullseye Flake, but I can look at it and say, okay, well, here's the flavor profile of this particular blend. Now, what can I do that West would like? And, it's kind of how I do my blends. You start to think, okay, I know what I like. And when I build, Travis and I are going to build one over the weekend. He wants, he's been so instrumental in so many things. I said, okay, we're going to build you a Travis, because I built Thomas's blend and I built Tinker's blend, which were both Thomas. And then I built another one that I haven't released called Joetta's blend for Thomas's wife. And I made Papplewick. So I thought, well, I've got to catch Travis up. So we'll make Travis a blend. Mm-hmm. And we'll do that tomorrow. And we'll sit down and do exactly what we did here. And we'll mix it up. We'll talk about the math. We'll talk about what kind of flavor profile he wants and build a blend.
Yeah, no, totally.
And if anybody wants to have something custom blended, I do that too. And typically what I do is I'll make you 2 samples. One will have one thing, one will have another. We'll change the math up a little bit, and you tell me which one you like, and we go from there.
Yeah, and you do a lot of that. You actually make all the blends for Eric Mills over at EMC Custom Cobs.
Oh, yeah. Make Beaumont Supreme for Tim, too. Mm-hmm. I've had some other custom work for people. Roadkill Joe, who, by the way, is a fantastic artist. If you haven't gone to Roadkill Joe's Instagram site and looked at some of his art, he's just spectacular artist. I have a picture on his that I got from him on the wall right here to my left. He took this fantastic photograph, and I'm not sure what the exposure was on it, but it's just a very meaningful photograph, and you can tell, you can almost see through the artist's eyes. And Roadkill Joe is just a spectacular artist. And Mad Max Forged, hey Jim, I make pipe nails and pipe picks, and does spectacular work. And this is something else. I don't know about you, but I hate when my lighter and tamper clank in my pocket.
Right, I saw this thing. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I took a piece of leather, sewed it up, and I am not Betsy Ross. It is not spectacular stitching, but man, does this thing work well, and I really like it. So
yeah, that is all. Are you going to start selling those?
I thought about it, but it didn't attract a lot of attention. Travis put some stuff out, trying to drum up some attention. It just didn't get any. So I've got a friend of mine, Andy, that I promised I'd make him one, and I finally got the leather in, but it came rolled up, and apparently it was rolled up sometime around the Oregon Trail, and it's really holding its form well. So I've actually got it smashed down flat with weights on it to get it to come back into shape. I put some conditioning oil on it to try to get it to not be a telescope. That's
really funny. So Monclaude has a question. Where do you normally source most of your tobacco? So he asks about Sutliff, but I know that you source your blending components from all over the place.
Yeah, so it depends. So if you're looking for Orientals, I will tell you the best Orientals are from the whole leaf companies. Whole Leaf, Total Leaf Supply, and Leaf Only. It's about the only place you can get the Bosma, Krumovgrad, Samsun. It's the only place you can get it. I like some of C&D's products, which you can get at Smoking Pipes and Cigars. Again, I do like some of the Sutliff Virginias. I do like some of the Peter Stockby Virginias, and those are available commercially. Everything that I buy, you can go online, do a search, and you can buy it. And if you want to try blending at home, please do so. Make something that makes you happy.
Yeah, totally. So just so everybody knows, all the components that we use today are from C&D's Smoking Pipes, just because that's all I really knew to get. But the next time we speak, Jim, let me know what I need, and I'll scour the web and get whatever I need to get. Okay.
Well, we'll do another blend, and maybe next time we'll make an Orva, which is an Oriental Virginia blend.
That sounds great.
Just to try something different for you. I've made a couple of them. I really like them, but they don't really have a great deal of popularity. Nobody says, I love Orvas. It's just one of those things. And it's disappointing because they go together very, very well, and they produce a wonderfully delicate, nuanced smoke. So we'll try something different. And so you don't have to buy a pound of Bosma and shred it yourself. I'll send you some. I'll send you some sand. I'll send you a jar of it so you can get through it. But next time we'll try to do something different. We'll step out of our comfort zones and put something together.
It's getting really wild. It sounds exciting. So what I'll do is, again, I'll put the all the ratios for the tobaccos that we used in the description of this video, and I will put a link to the spreadsheet that you made, so other people can get access to that.
Yeah. Even put your logo on it, so you get all the credit for that. Order of the pipe, and again, it's math. And the more you learn about the tobaccos and the flavors and the way they go together, the better you'll get. And this is not rocket science. It's not telemetry. It's just making blends of tobacco.
Yeah. Actually, Riley Holmes has an interesting question here. He says, could you put a vinegar topping casing on any of the blends to give it kind of an old school bite? Have you thought about that?
I haven't.
Is that how they do that in
I'll tell you that
blends? Did they actually put vinegar on there, or is that like a natural flavor that came out through their process?
Okay, so when you taste a blend that has a barbecue kind of flavor to it, and that's something that people talked about McClellan's,
Hmm.
I believe it was the 5150 Virginia. And how they got that was they gave it a or a vinegar casing.
They actually did put vinegar on it. Okay.
Yep. Now, nobody's ever said that, yeah, that's what they did, but that's, I believe, what they did. Um, if you want something that's like that now that's on the market, you can get Sutliff's 515
Hmm.
RC1 Red Virginia, and you can, when you open the bag of it or you open your sample of it, you will definitely have that old timey taste. And you can get that at smoking pipes, at pipes and cigars. But that's, I haven't, I do use 515 RC1 because I really like it, but I try to limit it. It's one of those where if you put too much in a blend, to me, it will overpower it.
Right.
Um, but I do like the distinct flavor it imparts, and it does give a different nuance. So,
Hey, yeah, and Monclod actually adds the vinegar acts as a preservative, and the pH balances it balances out the pH as well.
okay,
So that's interesting. That's I
yeah,
never really thought about it. Like you're right. You open some of the Frog Morton stuff, and it has kind of a ketchupy, vinegary flavor sometimes.
yep. And pipe tobacco or tobacco leaves are typically very alkaline.
Hmm.
So to balance it out, when you're talking about some of the older blends, things that were at turn of the century and up through the 50s and 60s, they did put a little vinegar on it to do that.
Hmm.
But I just haven't, and it's not because I just don't know that there's a call for it.
Yeah, yeah. So WE Cigar asked the same thing. What does McClellan's ketchup smell come from? And I assume that's from the vinegar casing they put on there.
Yep,
Yep.
that it is.
Interesting. So are there any? I know you're not into aromatics at all. So have you thought about any other sort of casings or toppings that you could add aside from like a rum or a whiskey or anything like that?
I do want to try Savinelli Ascenza Cipriata is a wonderful blend that I really like. It's an English that they put a red wine.
Ooh.
To me, it tastes like a Bordeaux,
Mm-hmm.
but they put a red wine casing on it, and I think that it's spectacular. And I think you'll see more blends come out in the reserve line for me that alcohol casing on it, simply because, and you've got 10B
Mm-hmm.
and Portmarnock right now, and those samples are out in the world being tested by by Thomas and Tim and Eric and Travis, and you've got them, and y'all are going to come back and say, I absolutely love this, or please, Jim, kill this with fire. So,
So
but I think that's probably next is I'll find a red wine that makes a good casing for something
yeah.
and try a red wine on a Virginia blend
Hmm.
and something that's more Virginia forward.
Sure. I mean, what about even like a port stave or something like that?
Yeah, that again, I'm not. When I drank, I was a bourbon and whiskey guy.
Right.
I love Scottish whiskey. I absolutely adore it. Single malt from the Highland, just a personal favorite.
Oh yeah.
The Kentucky Bourbon Trail is probably the most expensive drive in the world for me because you start at you start at Four Roses and you crash into Jim Beam, and I'll be broke long before I got to Jim Beam.
Oh
So,
yeah.
you start to look at some of the bourbons and the whiskeys, and like I said, these are my first two tries with the barrel staves.
Hmm.
Um, Once upon a time, I was told that McClellan's Frog Morton, it was Jim Beam. They bought Jim Beam
Yeah.
used barrels,
Hmm.
and that's what flavored Frog Morton. I said, okay. Well, I don't like Jim Beam very much, so the regular Jim Beam is just not. It's not a personal favorite of mine.
Yeah.
So why don't I put something that I really like in it? And that's why I did what I did.
Yeah. Interesting. I actually have a few years ago, my wife got me a like a gallon size mini barrel to age my own whiskeys in, and I've done my own distilling, and I've actually made some pretty good whiskeys out of it. And I've been debating reusing that barrel to age some tobacco leaves, like getting some whole leaves and aging them in there. What would you recommend aging in something like a barrel?
So you've got an oak barrel. So if it's a white oak barrel
It is.
and it's been charred on the inside, has it been charred or is it okay? So it's charred. So once you put tobacco in, it's going to pick up the slight vanilla notes. It's going to pick up the flavor from whatever bourbon whiskey you put in it. And again, they all dark fired and bourbon and dark fired and whiskey are fantastic together. I really like Tenby. I think your blend with the dark fired is going to be excellent. That would be an excellent blend to soak in, to put in a barrel. And I think those would be where I would go with that.
Yeah, great. That is awesome. When I eventually get to that point, I'll let you know, and we'll get on a video, and we'll do something like that.
Yeah, perfect.
Well, Jim, thanks again for coming on tonight, man. It was a lot of fun.
Well, I enjoyed it immensely, Wes. I really enjoyed getting to spend time talking with you. And, is there anything more fun than talking about pipe tobacco and other stuff?
Yeah, exactly. It's been so much fun. I've tried 2 of the 3 that you sent me so far. I'm going to try the third tonight. So I've tried the Tenby and I've tried the Abercastle. This Tenby was, again, so good. Love the way the flavor profile changed throughout the bowl. I'm going to smoke the Portmarnock tonight, and I'll let you know my thoughts on that too. But when you get reviews for your blends, how do you want to receive those? Do you want like a post with a review on it?
If you put it out on Instagram as a post, you've given me tacit approval or tacit approval if I'm not Daryl Brooks. You've given me tacit approval to use it. But I welcome any feedback in any form that you're willing to give it to me in. This is about the constant state of improvement. I don't ever want to be comfortable. Comfortable is when you get lazy.
Yeah.
I always want to be pushing to get better and better. So any feedback that you're willing to offer in any format that you're willing to do so, I would happily. Now, if you'd like, one of the thoughts, in fact, Thomas and Travis and I were talking about this, is I don't want to write my own reviews for my tobacco. I don't want to give the tasting notes. I'm going to tell you what's in it. I want somebody else to describe what they feel when they taste it. So Travis and Thomas are going to go through the blends and write up what they think about them. So if you'd like to participate in that, we would love to have you.
Absolutely.
And you'll get a much larger box of tobacco because to be honest with you, I can't even tell you how many blends I have off the top of my head, but it's okay. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 11, and 16, and 20, 20.
You got a few blends.
26, 27. I have 31 blends.
That is a lot of, and they're all unique too. That's the thing. Everything that I've had from you is completely unique.
Well, when I started off, the refrain I heard was, some of these taste similar. Well, yeah, because I'm making English blends, and they're all going to be a little similar simply because they're English blends. I mean, they're...
some of them have similarities, but they all have their own personality, I've noticed.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
You can definitely, like, you could tell the two apart. Like, it's not Coke and Pepsi. Like, you can definitely tell the two apart.
Yeah.
And I know I just started a battle right there with the Coke versus Pepsi argument. We're not getting into that. But, no, I mean, you can really tell the difference between all your blends, at least the ones that I've had. I think they're spectacular.
Well, yeah, I don't want to cookie cutter stuff. I don't want to, I made this, now I'm going to change 5% of something else I put in it. So it really doesn't, it's basically the same thing with different math.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's, I'm looking for the different combinations. And that's, again, when I found, and I'll tell you how I found out that dark fired Kentucky and bourbon go really well together, is I spilled a little bourbon on my desk and dropped some dark fired Kentucky in it, and like, ooh,
That's good.
That's a winner. I really like that.
Oh, that's funny. That's good to know. And it's. I do like your comment though about you don't like to tell people your thoughts on what the blend should be like. You like to hear their reviews. You'll tell them what's in it. But you like to hear their reviews because the first time you and I spoke, we talked briefly about everybody has slightly different way that they're going to pick up the flavors and the profiles in these tobaccos. People's body chemistry is different. The way they sense the tobacco, whether it's more nasal or flavor or however they like to taste their tobacco, it's going to be slightly different from person to person.
That's right, and I can't account for that, and I don't want to oversell and underdeliver.
Yeah, that's important.
It is. I want people to like the blends because they like the blends, not because they're hot or they're popular, because it brings them pleasure when they enjoy them. That's what I'm shooting for. And I can be exaggerated. I get very animated about certain things, and when I start talking about my blend, like the first couple of blend sheets that I sent out, I was writing it, and I looked at it and I thought, that's awful. Don't do that anymore. Let somebody else do something. And that's why I wanted, Travis and Thomas to, and that's why I love what Eric does. Eric writes these massive essays that are so elegant and well written. And I feel terrible because I made him smoke like half a dozen Burley blends, and he doesn't like Burley. And, but he still smoked them anyway and wrote reviews. And, to me, that's so much more meaningful than the guy making it, writing his own copy.
Well, yeah, I mean, just from I could nerd out on why it's important from a marketing standpoint. You need social proof and all, but especially when you have somebody who actually doesn't care for that specific, blend type, who writes a review, like you're getting an honest review. If he, has something bad to say, he's going to say it, and if he'll tell you what he thinks. But no, honestly, the blends that you've sent me, I mean, definitely rival the big name blends that are, small batch and people are clamoring for them at midnight trying to get these things. So honestly, everybody out there watching and listening, look up Emerson Southern Forge on Instagram, and you need to message Jim and get some of his blends. These things are just fantastic.
Well, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
I take a lot of pride in the blends that I make, and if you enjoy them this much, it's just my humble, heartfelt thanks.
No, thank you. I mean, it is all my pleasure. I promise you that. But let's go ahead and wrap it up, man. It's been really fun. Let's do this again real soon.
All right. Well, you call the shots. This is your show, and I will happily come and whip something up, and we'll do something different next time. We'll take some different ingredients. We'll take all the ones we used tonight off the table and bring some new stuff in and see what we can come up with.
Definitely. Well, I mean, at the very least, we need to get back together and do a taste test of this stuff after it's been resting for a while, or even the cakes we're making.
Yep. Now, when you pick up your press real quick before we go, and give it a little turn, see how much. Yep. Give the hand a little turn. See if you can turn it a little bit more.
A little bit more. Yep.
Yep. See, isn't that amazing? You had it down almost tight as it could be, and an hour later, you're getting a little more compression out of it.
You're right. So yeah, I'll keep working on this. You say take this out on Monday, put it in a jar.
Yep. So tighten it up tomorrow morning. Tighten it up tomorrow night. Tighten it up Sunday morning. Tighten it up Sunday night. Tighten it up Monday morning. Get home from work Monday. Take it out of the press. And you should probably do a video of that because it'll be really cool. And the tin note, and then compare the tin note from ribbon cut to the cake, and tell me what you think.
Okay, absolutely, will do. That's a great video. Okay, well, Jim, it's been awesome, and we will definitely speak again soon.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Wes. I greatly appreciate you having me on. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Everybody out there watching and listening, again, check out Emerson Southern Forge on Instagram. Drop him a note and pick up some of his blends because they're just fantastic. Jim, thank you again, man.
Thank you.
Basically infatuated with the in-between, the ups and downs, the curves and the rounds. I bring it to your city or your hometown. I go back in time when the feeling was fine, when funkin' was legal and it wasn't a crime. Party people lined up and down the way, a bigger celebration than your birthday. Funkin' up the neighborhood, I felt the fool 'cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. The neighborhood, I felt the fool 'cause the funk was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. And I have seen the world pristine, funk you up in the bushes, funk you down in the trees. Now look around, all the frowns, the yellow, the white, the red and the brown. Now keep in mind, it never costs a dime, 'cause funkin' is free, I remember the time. Now look today, the streets are gray, time to take you back to yesterday. Funkin' in the neighborhood, I felt the fool 'cause the funk was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood, funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt the fool 'cause the funk was good. It was good in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood, I felt full 'cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood, funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full 'cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood.